Life has a way of circling back. The energy you put out, the choices you make, the way you treat people, it all comes back around. You see people walk into your life, they smile in your face, shake your hand, and tell you all the right things. But behind your back, they're plotting, they're lying, they're tearing you down when all you ever did was love them, support them, believe in them. And when they don't need you anymore, they toss you aside like you were nothing. And you sit there wondering why? Why did they do me like that? Why did I give them my heart, my time, my trust, just to be betrayed? Why did I lift them up when all they wanted to do was drag me down? You ask yourself if they even cared at all. But let me tell you something. You don't have to get revenge. You don't have to chase after them, trying to make them see what they lost. You don't have to fight battles that aren't yours to fight. Because the universe, God, life itself, whatever you believe in, has a way of balancing the scales. The pain they gave you, they will feel it. The nights you cried, they will have their own. The way they broke you, something will come into their life and shake them to the core. Not because you wished it on them, not because you're waiting for it, but because that's how it works. You cannot plant seeds of pain and expect a harvest of joy. You cannot destroy good people and walk away unscathed. You might not see it, you might not ever hear about it, but trust me, it's coming. And when it does, they'll think back to you. They'll remember your kindness. They'll remember the love you gave so freely, the grace you extended, the loyalty you showed. And they'll realize they threw away something real that's not your burden to carry. Your only job is to heal, to move forward, to grow into the person you were meant to be. Without bitterness, without anger, without looking back. Because when it's all said and done, their karma is not your responsibility. Your peace is, your future is, your purpose is. And nothing they did to you can stop what's coming for you. Keep walking, keep building, keep believing, because while they're out there paying for the pain they caused, you'll be reaping the blessings that were always meant for you. Life moves in cycles. What you put out into the world, what you do to others, how you treat people, it all comes back. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it's inevitable. No one escapes it. You can't plant seeds of pain and expect a harvest of peace. You can't tear someone down and think you'll keep rising. Everything catches up. The words spoken in secret, the manipulation, the betrayal, it may seem like it's forgotten, but life remembers. The universe keeps score. And when that full circle moment comes, it won't ask for permission. It won't give a warning. It will hit in a way that only they will understand. The very same pain they caused, the same heartbreak, the same feeling of being discarded, overlooked, unappreciated. It will return to them in a way that makes them stop and think, is this what I did to someone else? They might not even recognize it at first, but in their quiet moments when no one is watching, when they're alone with their thoughts, it will come rushing back. And that's when they'll remember you. That's when they'll realize the weight of what they did. But by then you won't be there anymore. You'll be too far ahead, too deep into your healing, too wrapped up in the blessings life is pouring over you. Because the same law that ensures they feel the pain they gave also ensures that you will rise above it. That's why you don't have to worry. You don't have to fight. You don't have to prove anything. Just keep moving, because life will take care of the rest. Not everyone who stands beside you is truly with you. Some people enter your life wearing masks, pretending to be for you while secretly working against you. They smile in your face, tell you what you want to hear, and make you believe they care. But behind closed doors, they're tearing you down, talking about you, plotting against you. They take from you your kindness, your support, your love, only to use it for their own gain. And when they don't need you anymore, they throw you away like you never mattered. You gave them your time, you believed in them when no one else did, you stood by them through their struggles, cheered for them, supported them, even sacrificed for them. And in return, they took advantage of your heart. They betrayed your trust without hesitation, as if everything you did for them meant nothing. They left you questioning yourself, wondering if you were the problem, if you weren't enough. if you should have done more. But hear this. Their betrayal says more about them than it ever will about you. A good heart doesn't lose its value just because it was given to the wrong person. Their actions are a reflection of their own character, not your worth. And while they may have walked away thinking they got the best of you, life has a way of revealing the truth. Because the same deceit they used, the same selfishness that made them turn their back on you, it won't stop with you. It will follow them. The same way they hurt you, they will be hurt. The same way they played you, they will be played. And when that moment comes, they'll realize that what they did to you, they did to themselves. There's a certain kind of pain that comes when you realize you are nothing more than a stepping stone for someone else. When you look back at all the love you gave, all the sacrifices you made, all the moments you put their needs before your own, only to be left behind like you never mattered. It cuts deep. It makes you question everything. Was any of it real? Did they ever truly care? Or were they just using you, taking what they needed until there was nothing left? You replay the moments in your mind, searching for signs you might have missed. You wonder if you should have seen it coming. You start blaming yourself, thinking maybe you were too trusting, too forgiving, too blind to who they really were. And the worst part, they don't look back. They move on without hesitation, as if you were just a temporary convenience, as if everything you poured into them was meaningless. That's the kind of pain that lingers. It makes you question not just them, but yourself. It shakes your trust in people. It makes you hesitant to open up again because the last time you did, you were left broken. But let me tell you something. Just because they didn't value you doesn't mean you weren't valuable. Just because they walked away like you were nothing doesn't mean you were nothing. Their inability to appreciate you doesn't determine your worth. And as much as it hurts, one day they will remember you. Not when you want them to, not when you're still hurting, but when it's too late. They'll meet someone who treats them the way they treated you. They'll feel the sting of being used, discarded, forgotten. And in that moment, they'll understand the weight of what they did. But by then, you'll have healed. You'll have moved on to something greater. And they'll be left standing in the same pain they once gave you. You don't have to fight battles that aren't yours. You don't have to chase after people, trying to make them see your worth. You don't have to prove anything to those who walked away, betrayed you, or hurt you. The moment you understand that, you set yourself free, because the truth is, life has a way of handling people far better than you ever could. It's tempting to want revenge. It's tempting to want them to feel what you felt, to hurt the way they hurt you. But the moment you start plotting, the moment you let their actions turn you bitter, you give them power over your peace. You allow what they did to shape who you become. And that's exactly what they want. They want to see you broken. They want to see you consumed by anger, wasting your energy on them while they move forward like nothing ever happened. But you are not small. You are not weak. You are not someone who needs to lower yourself just to prove a point. Let them think they won. Let them believe they got away with it. Because while they're out there thinking they played you, they don't realize they've already lost. They lost someone who is real. They lost someone who genuinely cared. They lost someone they will never replace. And when life comes back around, and it always does, they won't have you to turn to. They won't have your kindness, your support, your loyalty. They'll be left facing the consequences of their own actions, while you'll be too busy living in the peace that comes from knowing you didn't have to lift a finger. Because life, God, the universe, it takes care of the rest. You just have to let go and keep moving forward. The same pain they gave you will come back to them, not because you wished it, not because you planned it, but because life doesn't allow people to keep hurting others without consequence. They may have walked away feeling proud of what they did, thinking they got away with it, thinking they left you broken beyond repair. But life has a way of making sure every debt is paid. The pain they made you feel, the nights you spent questioning your worth, the tears they never cared about, one day they will understand it in a way only experience can teach. It might not happen right away, you might not see it, but somewhere down the line, when they least expect it, life will put them in the same position they put you in. And when that moment comes, they'll remember you. They'll remember how they treated you, how they dismissed your kindness, how they took advantage of your love. And for the first time, they'll understand what it feels like to be on the receiving end of what they gave, the betrayal, the rejection, the loneliness. They will come to know it not because you wished it upon them, but because that's how life works. And the most powerful part, you won't even have to do anything. You won't have to chase them, won't have to prove a point, won't have to seek revenge. The same pain they handed to you will come back around, tailored just for them. It will hit in ways they never imagined, from people they never suspected. And by then, you won't be where they left you. You'll be somewhere better, healed, stronger, and far beyond the version of you they thought they could break. You don't have to watch for it. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to sit around wondering when or how it will happen. Just know that it will. Life doesn't miss anything. Every tear you cried, every silent moment of pain you endured, every betrayal you suffered, it was all seen. And the same people who caused it, the ones who left you broken, will one day face the weight of their own actions. But here's the thing, you won't be there to see it. You won't need to be. Because by the time life catches up with them, you'll have outgrown the pain they caused. You'll have moved into a space so full of healing, purpose, and peace that you won't even care about what's happening to them. That's how life works. The moment you release the weight of what they did, the moment you stop holding on to anger, life starts moving in your favor, because the same energy you give to your pain is energy you could be using to build your future. And while they are facing their own storms, you'll be walking into blessings you never saw coming. You'll be stepping into a life that makes everything you went through make sense. That's why you don't have to concern yourself with whether they'll feel the pain they gave you. It's already written. It's already set in motion. And by the time it reaches them, you'll be too far ahead to even look back. The weight of their actions will catch up to them in ways they never expected. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but one day they will wake up and realize the damage they caused. They will feel the emptiness of losing someone who truly cared, someone who stood by them when no one else did. And in that moment, they will understand the pain they once dismissed. Life has a way of teaching lessons that words never could. The same way they made you question your worth, they will question theirs. The same way they made you feel abandoned, they will feel the sting of being left behind. They will come to know the silence of waiting for a call that never comes, the pain of trusting the wrong person, the regret of pushing away someone they should have held on to. It will not be because you wished it upon them, not because you sought revenge, but because life never lets an unchecked heart go untested. And when that day comes, when they finally understand what they did, they will think of you, not with laughter, not with arrogance, but with the heavy realization that they let go of something they will never find again. They will remember the kindness they took for granted. They will remember the love they didn't appreciate. They will remember the strength you had to walk away, and they will wish they had seen your worth before it was too late. But by then, you won't be where they left you. You'll be somewhere far beyond their reach, living a life they can only look at from a distance, wishing they had treated you differently. There will come a day when they sit in the very same pain they once put you through, and the hardest part for them won't just be the suffering. It will be the realization that they caused it for themselves. See, you don't hurt people who were sent to bless you and walk away untouched. You don't betray love and expect to find it again with ease. You don't misuse someone's kindness and think life will continue to hand you the same level of grace. No, it doesn't work that way. They may have walked away from you thinking they won, thinking they got the best of you, thinking they could replace you, but there is no replacing real. There is no replacing someone who gave from a genuine place, someone who stood by them when they had nothing, someone who saw their flaws and still chose to care. And one day, when life strips away all the illusions, they will see that. They will see that the people they thought were better than you were only there for what they could take. They will see that the grass wasn't greener, it was just artificial. They will see that the love you gave, the loyalty you showed, was something rare. And when that moment comes, when the people they trusted betray them, when the ones they replaced you with turn their backs, when they sit alone and realize they lost the one person who truly cared, they will feel a pain they never imagined. It won't be because you wished it. It won't be because you tried to make it happen. It will be because that is how life works. You can't break a good person and expect to be whole. You can't plant pain and expect to harvest peace. One day they will come to understand that what they gave is what they must receive. But by then you'll be far ahead, walking in the light of everything they tried to take from you, proving that their actions had no power over your destiny. There will be a moment when they wish they could undo what they did to you. A moment when they realize that the way they treated you wasn't just wrong. It was a loss they brought upon themselves. See, people don't always recognize the weight of their actions in the moment. They act out of selfishness, out of ego, out of a belief that they can do whatever they want and walk away untouched. But life has a way of bringing everything full circle. One day they'll find themselves standing where you once stood, broken, confused, wondering why someone they trusted turned their back on them. And in that moment, they will hear the echoes of the words they once said to you. They will feel the sting of the rejection they made you endure. They will sit with the same silence they left you in, waiting for an apology that never comes, for closure that will never arrive. That is when they will truly understand. And the irony, by then you will have healed, you will have moved on, you will no longer carry the weight of what they did because, while they were busy playing games, you were busy growing. While they were laughing at your pain, you were finding your strength. While they thought they could replace you, you were stepping into a life they could never be part of. They will wish they had handled you differently. They will wish they had been honest instead of deceptive, loyal instead of selfish, kind instead of cruel. But by the time they realize the depth of their mistake, the door will be closed. Not out of revenge, not out of anger, but simply because life doesn't wait for people to wake up. And as they sit in the pain they once dismissed, they will finally understand what it means to lose someone who was irreplaceable. One day they will want to come back, not because they've suddenly become a better person, not because they finally understand your worth, but because life will have humbled them in ways they never expected. They will look around and realize that the very thing they took for granted was the thing they needed the most. They will remember your patience, your kindness, your loyalty, and they will wonder if they still have access to you. But by then, life will have placed you so far ahead that their presence will no longer have a place in your world. They will try to reach out, testing the waters, trying to see if they still have a hold over you. But what they won't understand is that you are no longer the person they left behind. The version of you that cried for them, that questioned your worth, that waited for them to change, that version no longer exists. You have grown into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who has learned that love does not beg, that respect is non-negotiable, and that peace is worth more than any connection built on pain. And when they realize that they can't come back, when they see that you are no longer reachable, that their words no longer move you, that their presence no longer shakes you, they will feel a pain far greater than anything they ever put you through. Because now, they will know what it feels like to want something they can never have again. They will see that the bridge they burned cannot be rebuilt, that the chapter they closed will never be. But you won't be angry, you won't be bitter, you won't even feel the need to explain why you've moved on, because at that point you will have already won. You will be too busy living, too busy thriving, too busy walking in the purpose that was waiting for you beyond their betrayal. And they will be left with nothing but the regret of knowing they lost something real, something rare, something they will never find again. Life has a way of making things right, of bringing balance where there was once pain, of restoring what was lost in ways we never expected. You don't have to seek revenge. You don't have to wish them harm. You just have to let go, move forward, and trust that the same universe that allowed them to hurt you will also make them face the weight of their own actions.